On April 11th in 2015, I posted on the Blessed Hope 5th on Wesley's checklist of personal holiness. Am I a slave to fashion, friends, work, or habits? Fashion, friends, work, and habits are not necessarily sinful, but they can become hindrances in my walk with God. Jesus taught those who chose to follow him the truth about not letting anything hinder them from being obedient to God in Matthew 18:8-9. Wherefore, if thy hand or thy foot offend thee, cut them off and cast it from thee. It is better for thee to enter into life halt or maimed, rather than having 2 hands or 2 feet to be cast into everlasting fire. And if thine eye offend thee, pluck it out and cast it from thee. It is better for thee to enter into life with 1 eye, rather than having 2 eyes and be cast into hell. So, Lord, help us in these things to realize where we need to make good choices. So the first one is, am I a slave to fashion? The fashion of the world will one day pass away. God's people have always been different from the world. They should not look or act like the world. I pray that our dress, our fashion, would reflect the Lord. I heard a sister one time share about how that when she went out, she wanted people to see the Lord in her, but she did not want to attract to herself. And I think that's what we have to be as God's people. We should dress in a way that is holy and pure. As Paul wrote in 1 Timothy 2:9-10, in like manner also that women adorn themselves in modest apparel, with shamefacedness, sobriety, not with broided hair, or gold, or pearls, or costly array, but that which becometh a woman professing godliness with good works. And modest apparel would be long enough sleeves, long enough hems, apparel that covers the body in a way that would not cause anyone to stumble or to lust. And I remember one time the Lord highlighting what shamefacedness meant to me, about being careful with my eyes. You can be immodest with your eyes. Sobriety, to be sober. And here he says, not with gold or pearls or costly array. And then the second that he asked is, am I a slave to friends? When I think about this question, I'm reminded that when my devotional life is in order, everything else seems to fall in place. I once had a friend who liked to call me during my prayer time, and I had to learn to put God first and then have my friend. God is concerned who we choose to be our friends, because they do affect our lives. As the old saying goes, birds of a feather flock together. And Proverbs warns us in Proverbs 22:24-25, make no friendship with an angry man, and with a furious man thou shalt not go, lest thou learn his ways. And we can also think of the Psalms where the scripture says, blessed is the man who walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly. So God is concerned with who we choose as our friends, because they will affect what we do. The next question he asked was, am I a slave to work? Work is, of course, a necessary part of life, but like food and clothing, it is just a part of life. Maybe learn to be balanced with our walk with God and our work. Jesus warned about the need to keep all things in perspective. He said to take heed to yourselves, lest at any time your hearts be overcharged with surfeiting and drunkenness and the cares of this life, There again, the cares of this life are not sinful, but they need to be put in their proper order. Because Jesus said that day could come upon us unawares if they're not. Am I a slave to habits? Ralph Waldo Emerson said this, and it's very, very good to consider. If we sow a thought, we will reap an action. We sow an act, and we will reap a habit. Sow a habit, and you will reap a character. Sow a character, and you will reap a destiny. It just starts with one little thought, and it's so true. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. I once saw a quote that said, every thought is a seed. Don't plant crab apples and expect golden delicious. So, Lord, help us that we keep our thought life and our habits in the light of eternity. I hope to be in the habit of being a disciple of prayer and a diligent student of His Word.